president of a Catholic university in Florida has issued a statement in defense of Pope Francis. He's denouncing former Vatican diplomat Carlo Vigano and the faithful who are calling for the Pope's resignation. The president of Ave Maria, which is a private Catholic liberal arts school founded in 2003, writes on its website, "Those so-called conservative Catholics who now challenge the Holy Father's legitimate authority and openly undermine his papacy are betraying their own principles and hurting the church they profess to love. They should stop now." And joining me by Skype is that president, Jim Towey, president of Ave Maria University. Mr. Towey, welcome back to the program.
Great to be with you.
Why did you feel you needed to write this statement?
Because it's not just a defense of Pope Francis, it's a defense of Peter, it's a defense of the chair. As faithful Catholics, I feel this university, Ave Maria University, has always stood by the Pope and by the church through thick and thin. And so it's one thing to have dissenting views and to air those through appropriate channels, but I thought publicly calling for the Pope's resignation was crossing a line because it really hurts the body, hurts the church, and it hurts Peter.
Who do you mean when you say so-called conservative Catholics?
Well, I think you can get really trapped in labels here. And so I was referring more to how culturally they're tagged. The reality is there are political conservatives and political liberals. Within the church, there are Orthodox individuals. So, along the spectrum of Catholic conservative thought where Ave Maria University proudly is situated, I think those that are announcing as conservatives their desire for the Pope to step down have to think through the principle of that in terms of the papacy. We don't like it when people are airing dissent about John Paul II, about Pope Benedict XVI. And so I think we have to be careful when we go after this Pope.
The Cardinal Newman Society, whose stated mission is to promote and defend faithful Catholic education, tweeted that your statement, quote, unfairly attacks credible, faithful Catholic leaders who have rightly grown impatient with rampant infidelity. At least 2 regents of Ave Maria on Facebook are openly expressing their thoughts of resignation. What's your response to your critics?
Well, I think there needs to be discussion in the church about how we clean up the mess that exists right now. And I put out a statement 5 days ago talking about the need for the laity to be involved, for the voice of women to be heard. It's a terrible scandal. The victims' cries have not been heard or honored. And so I'm all on board with the reforms that are needed. The question is, how do we go about doing it? And whenever you have a breach in unity between your bishops and the Pope, you're going to the heart of the church, and it hurts our Pope, it hurts the chair of Peter.
Would you support an independent investigation into the allegations mentioned in Vigano's letter, including an investigation into what Pope Benedict and Pope Francis knew and when they knew it?
I think you have to thoroughly investigate what happened around Cardinal McCarrick's situation. And I think Cardinal DiNardo has said that the bishops are going to do that. I think that's an appropriate step. What I think crosses the line is when the church is somehow split, where we almost seem to contemplate schism here over these issues. We have to be united. We have to work together. We love our Pope. We love the church. Ave Maria University stands proudly by the Pope. And he's admitted his failures and mistakes here in his own handling of certain situations. And now we're pulling for him. I'm sure he's going to address this issue at the appropriate time. But I just think critics calling from within for his ouster, I don't think it's called for. And so I felt, as a good Catholic, this university can stand by the Pope and in support of him. But I do think the church needs to clean up this mess. And those that are critics of how the church have handled it, I'm standing right with them.
Jim Towey, president of Ave Maria University. You can see that statement on its website. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.